Welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt. Good to be here with you today. No rest for the wicked. That's what they say. No rest. Happy Sunday. Good to see Shanika Boston. Says she waiting. Guys, we're a couple minutes late. You have our apologies. Good to be here with you. Good to be here with each and every one of you, wherever you're joining us from around the world. It's our privilege to be here with you. It is our privilege. Good to be here with you, Shanika Boston. Respect and manner, Shanika the first in the back end. We see her comment on YouTube. Those of you joining us via YouTube, via Facebook, like Maureen Coppin Williams, Eva Butcher, Marcus Johnson, and all the other folks coming into the live stream, joining our international podcast, Below the Belt. Welcome, Linda Thomas and Melinda McKenzie, Claire Alexis Chomley, Richmond, Kwana Mingo. We see you. Good to see you. Is it Carly Hendy? Good to see you, Carly Hendy. Braffett, good to see you guys. I see Aishad DeJong. Good to see you, Aishad. Or is it Urshad? I see Cycling Earl is with us too, and Cheryl Shiroda. Bernadette Duncan is here too. I see here we have Sandra Ford and Carl Fordyce is here as well, guys. Really good to have each and every one of you. What's for lunch on this Sunday? How are you guys spending Sunday? Where are you guys spending Sunday? Good to be here with you. Nonetheless, folks, I spent Friday afternoon into the evening, or rather Saturday afternoon into the evening in Linden. Had a great time in Linden. Had a great time last night. Guys, I told you, you got to take some time out for self-care. So I did some of that last evening. I got down back to town today and ready to go again. We had a fantastic time, and the weather was really good in Linden. But soon as we got onto the East Bank, we saw those dark, ominous clouds. Dark clouds. How's the weather where you guys are? And what is for lunch? I haven't had lunches yet. I had a fantastic breakfast. Had some pepper pot and bread at the Four Corners. Fantastic dining an eatery at Four Corners Junction there in Linden. Had a fantastic morning, and so breakfast still weighing heavy on the I&I. Breakfast still waiting heavy on the I&I. Still waiting heavy. Still weighing very, very heavy. Good to have you guys nonetheless. Rita Clark says it's cold. Karen Thorne, good to see you. Rita says it's cold. Rita Clark says it's cold, cold, cold. And Vashti says it's snowing in Waterloo, Canada. Vashti Magnot is snowing in Waterloo, Canada. Bernadette Duncan says she's watching us from Agricola on the east bank of Demerara. Good to have you, Bernadette Duncan. Lativia Lois says Linden people love you. I love back to y'all to Linden people. I love back to y'all. Good to see Armin Dean and Gary Archer. Blessed Sunday to all of you. Some folks are telling us blessed Sunday. Blessed Sunday to you guys as well. Maureen Coppin Williams telling somebody that the bougie. I know it's who. Hazelin King, good to see you. Good to see you. Hazelin wants to know why she didn't know I was in London. It was just a brief pit stop. A brief pit stop, Maureen, to refuel and to go again. That being said, was good to be in Linden. 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 Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Bear with us at this end. Bear with us at this end. Good to see you. We're discussing the sugar industry again. Sweet Talks. Y'all know them boys as a set of Sweet Talks. Them boys is a set of Sweet Talks. Good to have you guys nonetheless with us. Wherever from around the world you guys are joining us from. Good to see Elizabeth Narayan is with us. She said that's her old hometown, Linden. Beatrice Selby. Beatrice, you're late today, girl. Beatrice, you're late. Marina White, good to see you. And Tony Hack says it's hot and sunny in my zone. Tony Hack, it's hot and sunny in my zone. Which zone is that, Tony? Claire Capel. Gary Archer says it's raining in GT. Yes, indeed. When we came off the highway, it was dark clouds. We understood where the afternoon was going to go, and perhaps it has come down. It has come down now. Weather.com says it's 28 degrees outside with a 31% chance it's going to rain. Well, it's raining. And it's 28 degrees outside, but it feels like 24. It feels like 24. Guys, really good having each and every one of you here with us. Could not ask for more. Could not ask for more. Really happy to see all of you as we continue our talk from yesterday. Sweet talks. That's what I'm by giving me. Sweet talks, even though sugar is waning, the dominoes are falling, the industry is dying. Them boys say when they come back, they're gonna reopen the sugar industry. Well, we see how they're going. We see how it's going. We see how it's going. They say one thing, but they do something totally different. Nonetheless, we got to have all of you guys here with us. Noelle Chauchi, former city councilor. Good to see you, Noelle. And Noelle says, was the conversion of the Elmore packaging plant ever public before it was done? Nope, nope, nope. They just come and announce it, Noelle. They just come and announce that the Elmore packaging plant now going from packaging sugar to some, what do they call it, a machine shop. Machine shop. That's what they're doing there. Something to do with the oil and gas industry. That's where that is heading. And as you know, Wales Sugar Factory, that has gone by the wayside, and they're now doing a gas to show project there. A gas to show project at that end. Good to see you, Melinda McKenzie, Vashti Magnot again, Maureen Coppin Williams, Carla Washington, Anne Marie is here as well. Rami Leander, Shellon Joseph, Valerie Morai is here as well, watching us from Brooklyn, listening to us from Brooklyn, New York. Carl Miller is here too. I see Raul is here as well. And we have Vesta Hendy Rajkumar is here with us as well. Guys, thanks for joining us. You know, when you come, we always ask that you share the live stream. It's good to see Viola Duvoir. Good to see you, Viola. Pace and power indeed. That's what Viola says. Pace and power. We agree. Joel A. Bristol Mackend. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Owen Love. Good to see Owen as well. Carmela Grant and Oswin King. Shondell Moses, St. Romaine Adams. Diane Do Good. Good to see you. St. Stanislaus, or rather Stanislaus Washington. Good to see you, Stanislaus. What's for lunch, guys? What's for lunch, guys? We're going to have our very own Rita Finance, our co-host for the morning show. FYI is going to be joining us a little later on because Jurita focused on the sugar industry as part of her assessing budget 2022. And she's going to tell us what she discovered as she looked at the numbers in the sugar industry. We spoke about some of that yesterday, quoting from her presentation there. And we're going to have her a little later on in the program. But guy, how is it where you are? Maureen says she's still in she bed. You see these bushy people? Maureen says, I am still in bed, please and thank you. That's how the bushy. I want to get rich like y'all. I could be in bed at 12:20. But baby, that's how you gotta do it on Sunday. Easy. Easy on Sunday. Happy that all of you guys are here. I see Carol Roberts is with us as well. And Vesta is here too. Myrtle Hines is here as well. Myrtle Hines. I see Shondell Moses. Guys, really glad to have each and every one of you. And you know, part of our discussion yesterday, we were talking about the promises that the guys have been making to the sugar industry. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to join the discussion yesterday, here is the PPP in their own words, guys. Promising that they're going to reopen the sugar estates. Promises. Sweet talks. That is what they were. Sweet talks. Take a listen to the install. Minister Mustafa, Zulfikar Mustafa, the Minister of Agriculture. Hear the lies. What sweet talks? And we know how it's going. Take a listen to Mustafa.
All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking forward for the reopening of those sugar estates that were closed. As you rightly said, we have committed in our manifesto that we'll reopen those sugar estates. I want to say that already we are starting to do some work in that area.
He said they have started to do some work in that area. Oh, the treachery. Oh, the betrayal. It's too much. It's the betrayal for us. It's the treachery for us. It's the lies. It's the lies for us, guys. Good to have each and every one of you. It's the lies. Guys, we were looking at this issue yesterday and we saw some commentary on Facebook. People vex. People vex bad, 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 bad. What these scoundrels have done to the sugar industry. Oh, yes. The last administration got a lot of blame. Never mind, it was in 2020, or rather, it was in May 2015, when the new administration took office. They learned from the then CEO of Gaisuku that the industry was bankrupt. Never mind that. Never mind. Never mind. They don't want to hear those things. But that is what was learned. And I'm pulling up my notes here because, when we start quoting, we want to ensure that we are quoting correctly. When we start quoting, we quotes. We want to ensure, guys, that we are doing so correctly. So bear with me for a second. I want to read for you what Starbuck News covered. What Starbuck News covered in 2015 when the new administration took office. I wanna read part of that Starbuck News editorial because, guys, we often talk about credible sources, and we often say to you guys, we do our homework here, right? Sugar and sweet number, sugar and sweet number, folks. Was a lot of sweet talks to get into government, and now that the Jagabats are here, what we have to contend with is all the broken promises. Now that they have the seat of government, you think they got time with you? No, 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 no. They don't have any time with you whatsoever. Right? So, guys, this is Starbuck News, June 1, 2015, and the header of the editorial is Sugar Crisis. As a matter of fact, I'm going to paste it in our. I'm going to try to paste it in the comments on social media, especially on my Facebook page. And let me see if this is going to go through. I'm going to try to paste it in on my Facebook page so that you guys can see. We're making up story here. I'm going to paste it in the comment section of the podcast. We making up story. Is the truth. Is the truth. Is the truth. Is the truth. We making up things. All right, I'm going to paste that in a second, but let me read it for you guys. What it says here. This is the editorial from Starbuck News, and again, it is June 1st, 2015. Hear what it says. I hope you are listening. Hear what the editorial says. Hear what the editorial reads. June 1st, 2015. Exiting office with the sugar industry in its most catastrophic state since 1990, the PPPC will be harshly judged by history for its dereliction of duty towards the thousands of sugar workers and an important segment of the economy. While the party remains silent on the virtual bankruptcy of Gaisuko, declared last week by its hand-picked CEO Rajendra Singh, the sugar unions and the majority of workers in the industry will know that the problems accreted over the last decade and have gathered a momentum that now threatens the survival of the heavy indebted industry. So again, guys, this is, and you can go back and check this because I'm giving you the source. This is Starbuck News, June 1, 2015. It was the then CEO, Dr. Rajendra Singh, in 2015, who told the administration that Gaisuko was bankrupt after the PPP was at the helm of this country for 23 years. 23 years, Gaisuko was bankrupt. So when them boys come telling we and telling y'all a whole pack of nonsense, You understand now, if you didn't before, the industry that the previous administration inherited. I hope you got a good appreciation of the industry, guys, that the previous administration inherited. That is Starbucks News, June 1st, 2015. June 1st, 2015. Starbucks News for you. Right? Saying again that history is going to judge the PPP harshly because the wicked stink and dirty. That is why. Right? And for those of you who missed it, I'll read it back again. The exiting office with the sugar industry in its most catastrophic state since 1990. The PPC will be harshly judged by history for its dereliction of duty towards thousands of sugar workers, an important segment of our economy. While the PPP, remained silent, huh? While they remained silent on the virtual bankruptcy of Gaisuko declared last week by its handpicked CEO, Dr. Rajendra Singh, the sugar unions and the majority of workers in the industry will know that the problems accrued over the last decade have gathered momentum and now threatens the survival of the heavy indebted industry. So sugar was run into the ground by the PPP. It was run into the ground by them boys. But now, huh? Now, they're telling us a different story. And the story has gotten even worse over the last few days because them boys come back. And when they came back, as I just said to you, it was Zulfikar Mustafa, among others, who said, oh, the right sizing of the industry on the APNU AFC was wrong. They left a bankrupt industry, as I just read to you from Starbucks News. But they said the decisions taken on the APNU AFC was wrong. And the people who bankrupt the industry, they were now going to come back, right? They were now going to come back and open all of the sugar estates. They were now going to come back and open all of the sugar estates. Yep, that is what they're telling us. That is what they told us. Again, folks who are now joining us, this is Zulfikar Mustafa at the beginning of their tenure in August 2020.
All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking forward for the reopening of those sugar estates that were closed. As you rightly said, we have committed in our manifesto that we'll reopen those sugar estates. And I want to say that already we are starting to do some work in that area.
You heard the fella? We are committed to opening the sugar estates. Now, y'all can tell me if I lie on them. That's in their own words. We are committed to opening the sugar estates. Well, we saw the signals, we saw the signs. Like the pedestrian crossing to nowhere the other day that we had on social media over the last 24 hours, we saw the signs. We saw the signs because very early they said to us, they were not opening wheels any longer. Wheels had gone by way of gas to shore. This gas to shore project. They were no longer interested in opening wheels. That's what them boys tell us. All the promises they made on the campaign. And then they said, whoops, we sorry. My bad, we ain't opening wheels no more. Wheels is gas to shore now. Even more interestingly, on wheels, the farmers that were given land on that estate, the farmers who were given land on the whale estate and were planting and these were ex-sugar workers given land there to cultivate, to do subsistence farming and whatever else they wanted to do there to earn a living, they will now have to move off of those lands to make way for the oil and gas project, the gas to shore project, to be more specific. And even more recently, as a matter of fact, as we are on Wales, in a letter to the editor just recently, we learned, folks, by way of David Patterson, we learned that all of the things even that they were telling us we're going to get from the gas and sewer projects, we're not getting any longer. We are not getting any longer. So it's one lie to the next on the gas and sewer project. It is one lie to the next. And this is what, for the hundreds of you who are watching us, share the live stream. This is what David Patterson wrote in that letter to the editor. Right? He said it took a presentation by Winston Brassington to shed some light on the proposed Wales Gas to Shore project. His presentation confirms what the opposition and general public has been saying for the last 18 months, which is the current gas availability is limited to the production of electricity only. So what they're piping in from them rigs in the Atlantic is only to produce electricity. But here is where they lied. According to David Patterson in his letter, he writes, at an official media briefing on April 23rd, 2021, the country was regaled that the project will not only supply cheap electricity and the LPG, but also fertilizer, ammonia, urea, and other agro-processing byproducts, solid waste, right? Solid waste, pyrolysis, I hope I'm calling the word correctly, and even a cement plant were supposed to be coming from Wales as part of this gas to shore project, right? As part of this gas to shore project. But as David Patterson said, it was a presentation by Winston Brassington, which said to the nation recently, it's only electricity we are now going to get from Wales. So more broken promises on top of more broken promises. You see, to get into office, it's sweet talks. It's sweet talks. They were going to open back the sugar estate. But now in office, them boys singing a different tune. Moving away from Wales now and coming closer to Enmore. Y'all remember the sugar packaging plant there? Well. It was announced just recently, as we've said, that is now going to be a machine shop. That's what them boys tell me. It's going to be a machine shop. And they're already spinning the PR on that to say, oh, none of the workers will be fired. They will be retrained now to make machine. Right? After they break the promise that they're opening back Enmore Sugar Estate. Right? They said they're now going to employ the sugar workers there in this machine shop for the oil and gas industry. That is the latest word on that. Now, it's one lie to the next. A machine shop is the latest feature for what is going to be happening at Enmore. That's what them boys said. A machine shop. What we going to tell you all? Yesterday, we saw some comments by businessman Terrence Campbell on social media that we think is worthy of note on this issue. Again, folks, we encourage you to share the live stream as we want more people to get the credible information. This is businessman Terrence Campbell, what he wrote on social media. He says, hold on, let me get the notation right. Let me get the notation right, because we're dealing with facts here. This is Terrence Campbell yesterday afternoon. He says, the new Guyana bothers me. Businessman Terence Campbell. He says the new Guyana bothers me. It was only last month that Gaisuko boasted it was able to earn 1.7 billion from packet sugar. Now, 1 month later, it is its packaging plant and some valuable assets are going to a private investor. Its packaging plant and some valuable assets are going to a private investor. Even GAWU, the Guyana Agricultural and Workers Union, this is a union that is dominated by the PPP. It is governed by the PPP. As a matter of fact, the head of the union is a PPP member of parliament. The head of the union is a PPP member of parliament. And this is what the union said, according to businessman Terence Campbell. Even GAWU was troubled and commented that we have seen from media reports that Gaisuko plans to operate the plant through some alternative arrangements. We at this time are seeking to learn of these arrangements and what the next steps will envisage. What the next steps will envisage. The GAWU, the Guyana Agricultural Workers Union, is aware that the company continues to utilize the plant as it repositions itself as a value added sugar producer. The GAWU is aware that the company continues to utilize the plant as it repositions itself as a value added sugar producer. So moving from just producing sugar, they had gone into packaging sugar. They had gone into packaging sugar. Right? So here we are. And it gets worse, folks. It gets worse. So as I've said, sugar gone, the Wales estate gone to the oil and gas industry with the gas ashore, and now the Elmore industry is going in the same direction with this machine shop. And as I've said to you, GAWU president is not only PPP and a supporter of PPP, he is a member of parliament for the PPP, one C. Paul Narine. C. Paul Narine. So it is shocking to me that GAWU is shocked that the packaging plant was being converted to a mechanic shop, and hence Elmore Sugar Estate will be no more. It is shocking to me that GAWU was shocked that they weren't even informed officially. According to them, this was their press statement out in the media. So I was shocked that GAWU was shocked. But we had a lot of sweet talks again when them boys they coming in. Right? Here's how it started.
All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking forward for the reopening of those sugar estates that were closed. As you rightly said, we have committed in our manifesto that we'll reopen those sugar estates. And I want to say that already we are starting to do some work in that area.
Yep. That's how it started, guys. But this is how it going. This is how it going. Wales gone to gas ashore, and Elmore gone the same way. Mechanic shop to service the oil and gas industry. That is how it is going. That's how it is going. And don't allow them to tell you otherwise. Again, we shock, the GAWU shock. We told you yesterday of the billions that was spent to prop up the sugar industry, to prop up the PPP base, The billions that were spent since them boys come in, since before the first budget passed, them boys done get the sugar industry $600 million in August of 2020. When the budget was passed in September of 2020, the sugar industry got $5 billion. And then the PP came back for supplementary budget. The Gaisuko got $4 billion. And then in 2021, February, another budget was passed. Gaisuko got $2 billion. And then by June of 2021, them boys come back for a supplemental for Gaisuko, $1.5 billion. They weren't satisfied with that. They came back in December of 2021, just 2 months ago, and they got another supplemental for Gaisuko, $5.1 billion. Gaisuko wasn't satisfied with that for his insatiable appetite for money. Squandermania come true, continued. The biggest of the biggest of the biggest budgets was passed just this month here, early February. Gaisuko got $6 billion. And now these scamps and thieves and scoundrels, Alibaba and the 40 thieves, right? These jagabats and trench crappos, with their poor leadership, their bad management, coming to tell us that the sell-off and more, and where's gone. Well, this is the writing on the wall. If you ever need writing on the wall. And to boot, folks, and to make matters even worse, to let you know where the sugar industry is going, to let you know where the sugar industry is going, guys. It was our very old member of parliament and shadow minister for finance, Rita Finance, and host of our morning program, FYI, co-host of our morning program, FYI. Rita pointed out in her presentation or contribution to budget 2022 that, hey, look, even the production targets lower than it was before. Even the production targets is lower than it was before. To show you that when you think was a final nail in the coffin, it's more bad news for Gaisuko. Them boys can lie. Hear me? They got a lot of sweet talks, but it's lie. But it's lie. We are privileged to have Rita join us today, and she's going to tell us about what she noticed as she scrutinized the estimates for 2022. Rita, welcome to our program. A very good day to you. Do we have Rita with us? Bear with us. Bear with us. It's lie. It's lie. It's lies. It's pack of lies. Alibaba and the 40 liars and the 40 thieves. Folks, we have Rita with us. Rita, welcome. Good afternoon. Sorry to disturb you Sunday. All right. Hold up. We gotta do a little better than this. We want to hear Rita nice and loud. Bear with us. Folks, Rita's gonna be with us in a sec. Ensure you share the live stream wherever you guys are joining us from as we try to improve the audio. Rita, are you there? Well, I know you're there, but the audio again is troubling us. We're going to ensure we get it right. Let me try this again. Guys, if you hear it ringing, apologies. A whole set of lies, a whole pack of lies. Let me just ensure we have this right. One second, Rita. 1 second for us. 1 second for us. We're going to get it. A pack of lies. That's what I got. A pack of lies. Guys, in the meantime, do us a big favor and share the live stream. And we're going to grab Rita in just a second. We want the valid and the credible information. Let me make sure we have it right. I think we do. Drita, you still with us? All right, guys, let us know if you're hearing Drita. I'm not today, devil. Just hold a second for us. It's lies, it's a pack of lies. We see I seen Kosha joining us from South Rhine Veld. Roxana Dessa Jacobs is with us. I see Marilyn Thomas is here with us as well. Guys, it's a set of sweet talks. It's a set of sweet talks, but it's a pack of nonsense you're doing. Don't fall. All that you do, don't fall for the sweet talks. And we're adjusting things at the back end. Don't all that you do for your own good. Don't fall for the sweet talks. All right. One sec. All that you do, don't fall for the sweet talks. A set of lies. A whole pack of lies. Drita, are you still with us? We're trying to bring through your audio clear. All right, stay with us, Drita. We're going to bring you in a second. Not today, Jacobats. Not today, trench crappos. Not today. Yep. Drita, are you still there? All right. Something is affecting our audio. Y'all don't bother with me today. Yep. All right, we're going to try this another way. Drita, are you there? Yeah.
I'm here.
Folks, we have Drita Finance, Member of Parliament, joining us. And Drita, we were telling the folks how the sugar industry, they signs, the writing, the closures of the estate, the further closure, written on the wall, based on what is happening with the most recent victim of the PPP dastardly mismanagement and poor leadership. Poor and more estate, they've siphoned that off to one of their friends, cronies. It gone, they sell it out. But
Yes, that's exactly.
you told us about this in your budget presentation when we looked at the production levels of sugar. You saw it was going
Yeah.
nowhere positive. Talk to us about that aspect of this whole conundrum in the sugar estate, in the sugar industry.
Well, what Sheridan, you're absolutely correct. And one of the things I want to point out is to endorse what you were saying is that we have the head of GAU sitting in the National Assembly, a member of the PPP and a member of Parliament, and he is surprised.
Yep.
It just goes to show the lack of transparency that is actually at that level. And we keep mentioning it over and over. We speak about it over and over. That is just a few persons in the PVP that makes all the decisions, and at the helm of everything there's one particular person pulling the strings and making all the decisions. So we shouldn't be surprised when the head of GAU that sits in the National Assembly, a group that should be caucusing and making decisions on how we move forward as a country, does not know what is going on there altogether. But when I presented in the National Assembly, I made sure to mention that Ashni Singh, he gave the projection for 2022 for the subsector, the sugar growing subsector of 65,000 ton, which is over 22,000 tons less than the production in 2020. And I made note of that because they were saying that over and over that they're going to come in and they're going to fix sugar because the coalition was doing such a horrible job at sugar and all of that. And there you have it. Instead of doing anything that is going to be increasing the production of sugar, the projection is actually going to be less. You know why they're putting a number that is lower? they're putting that number as lower so they can come back in the next budget and say, oh, we have achieved 80 something or 90 something percent of our target, or we have exceeded our target. So it's going to be easy for them to say we've exceeded our target of 65,000 tons when that target is actually 22,000 tons less than it was in less than the production in 2020. So we need to follow the games that they play, especially with the numbers. We need to follow it. We need to keep bringing this information to the public because it is damning what is going on in the sugar industry. And I dare say, Sharon, the coalition starting. I know a lot of times we go out there and people ask for the truth. The coalition gave the truth about the sugar sector. They said this is what is going to happen. We have the right size. Persons didn't like that. The PPP went and they basically cut down that we were doing the worst thing ever. And today they are going in the same. Well, they are not even going in the same direction of right sizing. They're selling out, giving away. That's what's going on in the sugar industry. The same people that they profess to care about so much, but technology is a beautiful thing. And persons join your program from Barbies every single day, Sharon, and they're hearing the truth. Those same sugar workers, they're going to assemble in their little groups and they're going to be able to say, you know what? This, what the coalition said to us was right. And now we see the PPP doing even worse than we could have ever imagined them doing to the sugar workers today in 2022.
Yeah, because as we were sharing with our viewers when we began the program, for those persons who are now joining us, here was the PPP's Minister Mustafa himself, Zulfikar Mustafa, the Minister of Agriculture, the installed Minister of Agriculture. This was the beginning of their tenure. This was in August 2020 or September 2020 when they said, yes, they're committed to opening the sugar estates. Take a listen, Rachel. Take a listen, viewers and listeners.
All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking forward for the reopening of those sugar estates that were closed. As you rightly said, we have committed in our manifesto that we'll reopen those sugar estates. And I want to say that already we are starting to do some work in that area. All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking forward for the reopening of those sugar estates that were closed. As you rightly said, we have committed in our manifesto that we'll reopen those sugar estates. And I want to say that already we are starting to do some work in that area. All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking forward for the reopening of those sugar estates that were closed. As you rightly said, we have committed in our manifesto that we'll reopen those sugar estates. And I want to say that already we are starting to do some work in that area. All I want to say that the PPP Civic, we are committed to all the promises that we have made in our manifesto. And many persons are looking.
Yep, so much for that. So much for that, Drita.
Well, we see, we've been talking about this all the time. The PP goes out to the sugar workers and they believe that whatever they say to them, they're going to believe. That's why they go and they can change their narrative so often because they believe that even if they change their narrative, the people are going to say, oh, they believe what they're about to say right now. So they've been preaching that they have a manifesto and they're committing to the promises that they made in the manifesto. Mind you, they went to the National Assembly and said to the sugar workers that the $250,000 that they gave to each of those persons that were dismissed, that had already received money from the coalition, they went to them and they said that that was a promise from the manifesto, right? But now the same group of people, they had to pull out and they had to drag out that narrative as long as they possibly could to say that they're going to be reopening those industry, those factories. And we knew the coalition said it. Come on, people, we've been saying this all the time that it's not going to be reopened. And they knew that they were not going to reopen it. They had actually started closing factories before we got into office. But people have a short memory, so it's good that we keep reminding them all of the time. So now, after saying all of that, those words that you just said, it was just blatant lies. It just shows the extent at which the PPP is willing to go to make sure that persons believe the nonsense that they bring to them. They went out and they lied. There was no work being done. No work was started in that direction altogether. They just went and said that because they wanted to quell some of the discontent that was happening with those workers. So now persons are seeing firsthand that they have absolutely no intention of going back to doing that. And we need to talk about it because the PVP made this their platform to
Mm-hmm.
go
Mm-hmm.
out and say that they are going to reopen this. We need to keep talking about it all the time because they went on every platform and they spoke about it and they said we did the worst thing ever. And today they are doing not what we did, but they are doing something tremendously worse than what we did because they're not even looking to right side. It looks like they're going into the direction of completely done away with sugar altogether. And we need to keep banging at this because it was a blatant deception on the part of the PDP.
Yep, 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 yep. Sweet talks. Sweet talks. When them guys were campaigning, sweet talks. Up New AFC, they know what they're doing. They don't like the sugar workers. They hate the sugar workers. That's why they're right sizing the industry. We gonna get y'all jobs back. We gonna reopen the English industry. We gonna make sugar great again. That's what them boys said. We gonna make sugar great again. How they looking? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And as Rita pointed out, the numbers don't lie. It's their numbers. We just pull them and Rita just quoted them for you. It's their numbers that they produced in their budget as the projections for the year ahead. You know, could Barbies trust these people? I mean, they said, Rita, 50% for the civil servants, for public servants. That was Photoshop. They say 40,000 for the old age pension. I guess that was Photoshop too. They said free education for UG, right? Maybe that was Photoshop
Mm,
too, because we ain't there yet. A whole host of other things we can walk through step by step. They're going in a totally different direction to the manifesto. Clearly, and a
correct.
totally different direction. Can these guys be trusted? Yeah? Papa
You
Jagabat and
know,
all the
you
little Jagabats.
you're talking about the promises that they made, and I want to make this point, Sharon. I am noting some comments coming out of the administration that by 2024 this is going to happen, and 2024, end of 2024, this will be realized. And I want to put this caution to person from the beginning that it's not going to happen. Once you see they come out and they start quoting these numbers, 2024 or the beginning of 2025, they're basically saying to you, the population, the voting population, that they're going to come back to you in 2024 and they're going to say, we have begun the process of. That is what they're saying. They're basically saying that, hey, that was a campaign promise from 2020 and we're going to roll over that campaign promise as a new campaign promise for 2025 elections. Whenever you see them quoting those years, that's what they're going to do. They're going to come in 2024 and they're going to say, we have begun the work. Guess what? You know what work they began? They said that they had the Youth Advisory Council coming under the office of the president. They said that they actually put aside $60 million budgeted for in 2021. They came to the National Assembly in 2022 and they said, oh, we began the work. It simply meant that they had done absolutely nothing in that direction. $0 was spent from it because they had no intention of going there. So when you hear them talk about, oh, in 2024, we're going to get this done, by the end of 2024, by the beginning of 2025, no. It simply means that this is going to be a new campaign promise. They're going to go on again and they're going to hope that persons trust and believe and have faith in them because that is a narrative that they bring. Oh, trust us, believe in us. We will not do this. This is 2022. This is not a time of trust. And if you break down the institutions and the guardrails of transparency and democracy altogether in the country, then we are left with a system that we cannot trust. So we don't go out there and ask us to trust you when you have completely dismantled every system that would have ensured credibility and transparency. And this is what we're talking about throughout the days as we move forward. We've been talking about it from the very first day they got into office, and we will continue to speak about it and call them out on the duplicity.
And this is the point we're making, because again, it was the PPP who said to us that this Wales gas to shore, right? In the Wales gas to shore project, they were going to do all of these fantastical things as we outlined just early on in our program. It was going to be cheap power supply. It was going to be you can get some fertilizers part of that process, ammonia, urea, and some other agro processing byproducts. You can get solid waste pyrolysis and all of that, a cement plant. And now we're hearing it's just electricity. The gas assure project going to be aiming to produce just electricity. It's one light to the next. And then, as Jurita said, they come and say, trust me, they got a whole budget at a glance booklet here. But now you're going through this, you wonder what we going to actually do from here, really and truly. What is next? Right? What is next? What is next? For them to come back, Sonia Parag and the rest will tell me, oh, in the Photoshop, what is next? Jurita.
We're just discussing sugar right now, but if we're to go through those the actual budget presentation that was made by Ashley Singh, person would realize that they have completely failed since they got into office. There's nothing that they have done that has that was success since they got into office, with especially when it comes to agriculture. Agriculture has been suffering since they got in there, and if persons actually go and look at the numbers that Ashley Singh presented, they would realize that, hey, they're saying that they know best, they're saying to trust them, but at the end of the day, they have failed to deliver altogether. It's just not in sugar, but it was also in rice. And if you even go to the other extractive industry, the other aspects of that with gold and so forth, you will see that they have failed tremendously there also. So we have a lot for person to talk about. I mean, let me tell you something. The PVP have a way about them, especially when it comes to senior ministers that have been around for quite some time. They believe that because they have been here forever and they're a little dinosaur in this process altogether, for need of a better word, Cheryl,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
when they speak, persons would say, well, these people know what they're speaking about, so they must be right about it. But they have found a way over those years of being in office and in power to completely disguise the truth. If I can put it like that, they have the ability to disguise the truth. And these people have the ability to basically sell an old car and make it sound like it can work perfectly fine on the road. But at the end of the day, if you buy the old car from them, it's still an old car and it'll still break down as soon as you pull out of your driveway. And this is the set of people that we're dealing with all the time. They have no intention of opening back any of the sugar industry, but they're going to go and say, we're going to open it back, and then they're going to come and they're going to go to the same people that they said we're going to open it back, and it's going to be, oh well, they're going to say, oh well, we're not going to open it back, but we're going to train you and give you some other jobs, and okay, so that's going to be fine. That is the group of people that we are talking about. They are not to be trusted. They are duplicitous in everything that they do. They are not transparent in anything that they do, to the point that their own sitting member of parliament, the head of GAU, does not know what is going on in relation to the sugar industry. What else do you need? What other evidence can we provide to you to say that the PVP lacks transparency? There is nothing more that you should require if their own member of parliament does not know where they are going with the direction of the
Mancy
sugar
was surprised.
industry.
He learned from the media what was happening at Enmore. He learned from the media
Well, I
now. He
beg
got
to
a right to
ask, what is he
clarification.
doing in parliament? What is he doing in parliament? If he has to learn, if he, listen, this is ah,
He got to
it's
learn. He
ridiculous, Sharon.
said they're writing for clarification now from the government. He in the government benches in the
He is
National
in the
Assembly.
government. Listen,
And he got to write to the government for clarification. Imagine the rest of us. How does the ordinary
the
man
government
fare?
writing to the government. Wow.
Right? How does hey, my father, folks, you all seeing what is happening here on the ground. You all know what is happening, folks in the diaspora. You hear from your family, right? You hear from your compatriots, right? It's confusion powder chased with pocketry, with a healthy dose of pocketry, confusion powder and pocketry all in one. Every goddamn day in this country is some nonsense. with these folks. It's some nonsense with them, right? Some nonsense with them. What do we tell our people? Yeah? It's Alibaba and the 40 thieves and the 40 liars. That's the reality of it, Jerita.
But it, I think the writing is clear. The writing is on the wall, and it is clear as you can imagine. It's just a person. The truth of the matter is, it's either you believe the facts that are presented to you, or you sink yourself further into the phase of denial, you know. I know there's a lot of supporters of the PPP what would love to not have this information presented to them. They would love to not see the data that is coming to them, even from their own Ashley Singh's report. But now it is before them, and they wish they did not see these numbers because they're seeing that these are the facts, and they still, some of them still want to be living in denial. But again, I always have to commend the persons that are stepping out from in that bracket of denial, and they are speaking out, and they're saying, well, this doesn't make sense, this is enough. Like, I can't, they can't understand why is it that other persons are not opening their eyes and see the light of day. So we encourage persons, just open your eyes, see the light of day, and make sure that you go through these things yourself. I'm not telling you to read the manifesto of the coalition. I'm saying go to the budget presentation from Ashley Singh, the one from 2021, and then go to the other one from 2022, and you read and you compare and you do the analysis for yourself. And if you do not want to do that, you can do exactly what a lot of persons do. They come on and they listen and they make some judgment for themselves and share it. We cannot at any point in time believe that we can leave the research to everyone, because let us face the fact, there's a lot of persons out there that don't have the time to actually go and do the research. So what you do, and the fact that you can bring up the data from so many years ago and all, it makes a lot of sense. When you put these things into perspective, persons are better able to connect the dots and to say, well, you know what the PPP said then, what they're saying now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It shows that they are completely deceptive. It shows that they had no intention of opening back the sugar industry altogether. And persons are slowly but surely waking up, and I am thankful for those little mercies.
Yep, and they're gonna come now to tell. They're gonna come now with some spin, right? Some spin on why they were wrong about the sugar industry, why these factories can't open. Then come with some spin. Wait for it. Wait for it. Right? It's coming. You can get some nice little spin out of them boys on why these factories are no longer going to be open, on why the PPP broke their promises to the Guyanese people. They're coming with that spin. But we ain't having it. We're not having it. That's what we're telling you all. We're not having it. We're not
Let
having
me
it.
tell you, we can guess what they're going to say. The PP are propaganda specialists. Let's just be honest about that. They're going to come, let me tell you, yeah, Sharon, you can cut this part out and mark my word.
Bigger
They're going to
market.
go to the sugar, the sugar workers, and they're going to say that when they got into office, that they saw things so bad and so far gone that they couldn't manage to salvage the industry. That is the group of people that we're dealing with. You can mark my word. That's what they're going to go and say, because they have to say something, that they push the blame to the coalition, that they could not have done it. After 23 years, we went to meet the industry bankrupt, but that's not their fault though. It's not their fault. That's not the reason why they're heading in the direction they're heading. It was the 5 years that the coalition was in office. It wasn't there 23 years of mismanagement and bankruptcy. It wasn't that. It was the 5 years. That is what they are going to take to those to those podiums and tell their supporters. I am just saying it now, and you can prove me wrong later.
Yep. Oh, you know what? You know what? We can get we girl we can get we girl Sonia Parag, who is gonna come and tell us, like they did on the issue of the 50% raise for public servants, that it was a lie. Take a listen to our girl Sonia Parag. She can come back and tell you on the sugar industry. Oh, they didn't promise to open back all the estates. It was Photoshop. This is Sonia Parag.
This government and the PPPs when campaigning never promised 50% increase in salaries. What there was a photoshopped photo taken from I don't know where and posted up as if the government was saying, I'm giving you 50% increase. This government and the PPPC, when campaigning, never promised 50% increase in salaries.
They're going to push out Sonia now, Twitter, and say, we never promise to open back the sugar estates. We never promise. This government, we never promise.
Sonia special to have all of those campaign promises mounted on the light poles and then come and say that they never promise it. You know, that's a special talent you have to go to the Guyanese people and lie so barefacedly.
The PP different. Twitter, the PP, the different. The bareface and the different. That's how we can see from this end. The different, right? But you know, it's Raphael Trotman who to characterize Bar Jagdio. You know, Dr. Doom. When we were in government, he was Dr. Doom. Everything gonna go bad. The sugar industry, they couldn't fix it. And where we are now, people, where we are now, as we wrap up the discussion to, this afternoon on Sweet Talks, the PP promises and failures in the sugar industry, what do we tell the Guyanese people? Huh? What do we tell the Guyanese people? Photoshop or reality?
My encouragement to the Guyanese people is to keep vigilant, keep listening, keep following, continue to edify yourself on the facts. Don't just go out there and take these propaganda as face value. Basically, we see the PPP ministers, they have been utilizing the taxpayers dollars to travel around the country to spread propaganda even further. And I encourage persons as are listening in from the various regions from Guyana, you have to be vigilant when it comes to your consumption of information. Make sure that you just don't go and consume information and take things at face value. Go fact check these things for yourself. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. You have ministers coming before you and they're making promises. Ask the tough questions. How, when, where? Why? You know, those questions are the questions that they tend to run from. Why? That's one of the reasons why they don't really walk around with any independent media, and they just take persons with them that that are going to print the script as they want it to be printed. So you, as the taxpayers, you as the residents of this country, you ask the tough questions of these ministers. And I can further say that we're in 2022. The people took office in August of 2020. We're in 2022 already. So the time is going by. We will continue to bring you the credible information. And will be your responsibility as taxpayers, as a persons that are suffering under this administration, to make sure that you do everything in your power to make sure that they are not re-elected at any point in time. And sure, we know that they were not elected in 2020. So we need to do everything in our power to make sure that a credible election is held in 2025 and that the rightful leaders of this country is placed within those offices. And that is all we can keep fighting for. But I continue to ask persons to be vigilant. Do what you have to do. Fact check. Ask a question. Do not be afraid to come out and speak out. Use your social media platform. Use your voice. Wherever it is you have an opportunity to raise your voice, your objections, your concerns, just continue to speak out.
And I dare say, Juita and listeners, as Raphael Trotman said in July of 2019, do not be deceived by the PPP. Then come a lot of sweet talks. They're coming to spin why these two sugar estates closed and why the others will be closed. They're coming with a spin. Wait for it. They're coming. Do not be deceived, Raphael Trotman said in 2019. Take a listen to that. And I wish just before Juita goes, she chimes in. Take a listen to Raphael Trotman, right, on them in 2019.
How could you, Mr. Speaker, come here and try to lecture us after you've left that behemoth that has failed in Skelder? 200 have the temerity to turn up here and give us $280 million that can't produce 1 kilowatt of power, and then you want to come here and lecture as if you were the world's greatest economist? How dare you come here to lecture us? Mr. Speaker, this honorable member is nothing but a doctor of doom, because if the people of Ghana were to hear him, they would know that he has nothing good to offer. The Skeldon is down because of him. The Bobbies River Bridge, we are barely holding it up because of him. Every sector that you touch is done because of you. The National Insurance Scheme, the Marriott Hotel, Mr. Speaker, under his government, just 7 years ago, we had become a pariah state. Awash with drug money and corruption. There are people in this house who couldn't travel abroad. People in this house who couldn't travel abroad. And Mr. Speaker, now we're being told and lectured to. Who are the pharaohs who just showed up and tried to tell us how to run a country? No. Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader has to remember he is in the opposition, has to remain in the opposition. Don't come to lecture us about
Yep. Well, the pharaohs who thought they could run a country according to Raphael? The pharaohs, Edmore gone, Wales gone. What else will follow? Jurita, as we wrap up. The pharaohs.
But Raphael Trotman was on point with what
Vintage
he was
Raphael.
saying there. He was on point of what he was saying there, because Raphael would have been one of the persons that was looking at numbers. It's one thing for politicians to go and say that this is what we're going to do and they were the better at this and all of that, but when you actually get down to the actual data, that is what Raphael was speaking about. When he got down to the data, when the coalition took office in 2015, they met a structure in sugar what that was completely dismantling. The PPP got it to that point, and you mentioned it earlier when you said they met Guy Suko in a state of bankruptcy. That's not something that the coalition did. That is what the coalition went there and met. And that's what Raphael was basically speaking to. He was pointing out the failure of the administration over the 23-year period that they were in office. And he was basically saying that how dare you come and speak to us about what should be done. And again, I say, Shared, even in my budget presentation, I point out the same thing, that they came to the National Assembly and they made all these lofty promises that this was going to be done and this is going to be achieved. And then at the beginning of 2022, they had to come back and say, well, we did not achieve any of what we said we were going to do. But we'll give us another year. We're going to do it again. That's basically what they were saying. And we need to keep on track with these things, Sharon. But most definitely, I agree with Raphael Trotman and his comments that he made there. He was on point, and those comments that was made back then, they are just as relevant today in 2022, because we're faced with the same set of lies and deception from the people. We're faced with the same set of data that shows that even with all the sweet talks that they have, they are yet to actually produce what they say that they're going to produce.
Fantastic. Drita, thanks for joining us today. We're going to have Drita on early morning back with the program FYI. That's our morning program. Drita is our co-host for that program, as well as a member of Parliament. Drita, thanks for spending this time with us today. And apologies to have to disturb you on a Sunday, but we got to get the credible and valid information to the people.
Well, anytime, Sharon. It's always a pleasure to be here and with your audience, and I thank them for always tuning in to listen to the facts. So thank you for having me.
Thanks again, Twitter. Folks, that's our time today. That's our time. As you know, we always say we can't run on water. We'd love to do all this for free for y'all. We'd love to do all of it for free, but unfortunately, we don't run on water. But that's our time today, guys. We got several platforms available by which you can contribute to keep our programs going, keep our morning program FYI going, and keep the podcast going, and to keep our affiliate in the ring going, and the affiliate website credible sources going, all geared towards providing you guys with timely information. Thanks for joining us. We got the Cash App available. Our handle there is the $in the ring 592. We got also PayPal, and we got Zelle available. We have one email address for both of them. It's in the ring 592@gmail.com. We're also available via MMG, guys. MMG, we're also available via that platform. Our number there is 627-6963, 627-6963, and we are available via MoneyGram as well, and we can be had via Western Union as well. Folks, we got a lot of responsibility to meet on a monthly basis, and we do this because of you guys, and we're thankful you're going to partner with us. Those of you who've done so in the past, you're going to come back and do so again. and help us to meet our monthly responsibilities to keep our programs going. We're so grateful for each and every one of you. Even if you cannot partner with us in a tangible way, you can share the live stream, you can smash that emoji button. That is going to help us a far way as well. Thanks for being here, and thanks for partnering with us. That's our time today, Onessa Wardine. That's our time, Auntie Sandra Hanover. That's our time, Roxanne Odessa Jacobs. That's our time, Laverne, Harry Chiran, Kelman Passad. Guys, continue to have a fantastic weekend. We're going to see you back here with FYI in the morning. It's MASH. It's the MASH week. Lots of stuff happening. And we're going to have the breakdown for you tomorrow on the morning program, FYI. Tell a friend, bring a friend of me, bring your spouse. See you guys at 8, folks. See you guys at 8. That's our time today. Below the belt. Who vex lose? Who vex? Vex. That's our time. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. We love you all. Stay safe.